We're in Numbers chapter 7, and it's quite a long chapter because in it all the different tribes of the ancient church brought offerings after the tabernacle was set up. And the offerings are for the work of the tabernacle at the centre of the ancient church community. And the chapter is long because it involves listing all the offerings that each tribe brings. And at first you might think, oh well, there'll be some tribes are significantly smaller than others, so some of them will have, like the Judah tribe has far more than others, so they'll presumably give more money, more resources, they'll be more influential. But it isn't that way. It's interesting that all of them bring exactly the same requirements from each, and so that's what takes the time in the chapter, that you get to see that exactly the same. So from the tribe of Judah, 1 silver platter, the weight which was 130 shekels, a silver bowl and fine flour, gold pan, young bull, lamb, everything, and they all bring exactly the same, and that's carefully listed out. Why is that important? Why is there a whole chapter like that? And I think the message is, first of all, that you couldn't buy status. It was an offering which was within the capacity of the smallest tribe, the largest tribe. They all came and had the same contribution. And that's kind of important in that sense of all belonging, all being the same, that there isn't sort of rich or poor or hierarchy of social or financial status. There's a way in which they all contribute the same. They all have the same value, each of these church communities. And it's all belonging. Everybody is involved, and there's that sense that everybody brings something and everybody is connected to the work of the tabernacle on an equal basis. So it's not as if some would say, well, we're really bankrolling the whole operation, so we get the say. There's something quite revolutionary about church communities down through the ages, and I know that perhaps initially in the first century the churches may have sometimes met in a big house that belonged to, say, a rich family, and that was a great thing that they could do that and share that house. But quite early there is this desire to buy out the property or turn it completely into a church community owned building, or buy building from scratch, so that in a way it isn't owned, the church, by the wealthiest people. Even if those first generation were super humble and servant-like, it wouldn't be long, maybe a generation or two later, where the fact of the money, the ownership, the wealth translates into, oh well, we are obviously part of the leadership because we have more money, we're more socially important. Loads of times I've gone to churches and looked at or been introduced to the leadership of the church, or the church council, the PCC, whatever, and they are basically the people with the most money and the most prestigious jobs. And I'm immediately thinking, but are these the people who are filled with the Spirit? Are these the people who are most walking with Jesus, most laying down their lives, most mature, most transformed by the gospel? And yeah, maybe so, but I'm not convinced. And so there's something quite powerful about this idea that everybody brought the same offering, Everybody belonged in the same way, and no one could buy status or influence in that ancient church. I've meditated on this quite a lot at number 7, and why the Holy Spirit thought it was so important for us to see how all were on the same level. Well, that's one of the things from number 7. Perhaps we'll find one or two other treasures in the next day or two.